Oh my God, this is another thing I've been thinking about. Uh, do you know about the new YouTube changes that are coming to ads?
Not off the top of my head. Why? What's up?
Okay, so apparently YouTube, this was a while. I don't know when the official date for this to happen is supposed to happen, but YouTube is trying to change how the way they do ads. So instead of like auto generating where ads go on YouTube videos or allowing creators to place where ads where they think ads are best, what they're trying to do is that they're trying to use AI to place it in in places where it's not disruptive to the video.
Huh?
So
Wait.
it's trying to place it where there's natural silences, so it doesn't feel like there's like a cool moment happening and then an ad pops up.
That's okay. Now it makes sense, but that's still really friggin' weird.
Right.
Not everything has to have AI on it now.
I
Like, we get
agree. I agree. And the thing
We
is,
get it. It's cool.
the idea itself is not the worst idea ever. The issue is it sucks ass. And the thing is, it affects videos what's the word?
Retroactively.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you have ads on a video and then the new system gets implemented, if your video doesn't have natural pauses in it, you won't get ads at all.
Good grief. That is, I don't know.
Right. And the issue is the fact that it doesn't allow you an option to pick where you want your ads. So it's not like, oh, you can use the AI or you can place your own ads. It's solely that you're only allowed to let the AI do its thing. You can't change it. Once it determines what it is, then it is what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Intel, it is everywhere. I agree, but like, it doesn't have to be. That's the thing.
Well, firstly, I think AI doesn't have to be in everything. Just because it's in something doesn't automatically make it better. Now, if you utilize it in a way that makes the product better, then go for it. Absolutely. But YouTube is just doing it. The AI is not advanced enough and not good enough to implement a feature like this. In the main issue is that, you know, how people do YouTube videos is a lot different than they used to. So back in old YouTube, people just uploaded kind of gameplay, and then you have the face cam, and then that's it. There's no like editing or anything like that. If you look at what the YouTube meta is right now, having quick and snappy cuts and edits is the thing. The point of doing that type of stuff is to cut out silences and awkward moments so that the video is more engaging. But the thing is, the YouTube ad, the AI requires there to be silence so that it can place ads. So imagine you make this super quick and snappy YouTube video that is able to garner the attention of a lot of people because it's very well edited. But because you don't have any natural silences within the video, you don't get any ads whatsoever. And the thing is, that's been the meta as of late with YouTube. That's been the meta for like the past like 2-3 years. So imagine all those videos retroactively, they get no ads because they edited it in a certain way.
Which means that there are certain ads that might have been popular at one point who are no longer going to have any traffic over there at all.
Exactly. Right? And the thing is, that's crazy to me, because then now you have multiple types of videos. You have quick and snappy YouTube videos, then you have like video essays where things are a lot more slow and stuff. And so it feels like you're putting certain creators at a disadvantage, because let's say a video essayist, maybe they're going off the dome, right? Maybe they're just talking into the camera. They're gonna have natural pauses and quiet moments because they're just talking off the dome. So they could naturally get more ads because there are more natural silences. But if you purposely make your video quick and snappy, there are no ads whatsoever. And so now people possibly have to change how they do their videos just to suit this new YouTube ad system. And it's stupid because you should be able to make videos the way you want to make them. If you want to talk off the dome, you should be able to do that. If you want to make quick and snappy videos, do that. If you want to make simple gaming videos, do that. But the fact that YouTube, that could push people to change the way they do videos is what pisses me off. Because YouTube, you're supposed to express yourself. You're supposed to make things the way you want to make them.
Yeah. That's why it was the longest standing kind of video platform for years.
And the reason that they said it was also bullshit too, because it's like, oh, but let's be honest, they're trying to do that so that they can somehow get more money. But the thing is, that's how I know they're disconnected. Because if you were actually a creator and you understood how what the creator culture is at the moment, or what the culture is within the different cultures within YouTube, you would know that implementing a system like this would cut YouTube's revenue. It would do quite the opposite. But for some reason, they have the idea that it would make them more revenue. I don't know. Because you would think the more ads that you play on the video, the more YouTube and you get a cut. But if you're going to retroactively take ads off other videos, then you're technically losing money, right? Am I crazy?
No, I mean, yeah. YouTube, because everyone starts small.
Mm-hmm.
They need to understand that. I don't think companies understand, like the Twitches and the YouTubes, they don't understand that in order to have new customers on their platform to rake in more money, they need to cater to the smaller number. And YouTube and Twitch, they ain't doing that anymore for some friggin' reason.
Right. At the end of the day, creators make the platform. If you don't have the creators, you don't have a platform. And they need to understand that. Right? Exactly. Now they have, and the thing is, if you make an intentional pause within the video, there's a good chance that person might click off the video. Because now there's a pause. Maybe they were distracted, right? Because let's be honest, we have shorter attention spans, all that type of stuff. So if you enter a natural pause, that person might decide to click off the video entirely.
Yeah. No, it's
Right? That's what I'm thinking. It probably costs them quite a bit to run the AI to let it do that. But then that could possibly cut. And the thing is, think about like my VODs, right? Because because I've been thinking about that with my VODs. It's just me talking into the mic. So there are a lot of natural pauses. But what if YouTube completely overloads the VOD? Like, let's say
just ads.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's say I had like a BRB moment. Let's say I had to go get food from Uber Eats and it takes me more than 5 minutes. How many ads do you think YouTube would load within that 5 minutes?
Well, who knows?
And that ruins the experience too. Going to either ends ruins the experience for the viewers and the creators. And and again, I'm not a CEO. I don't know how to run a business, all that type of stuff. But I don't know. It just feels like there are so many obvious changes that YouTube can implement. And obviously YouTube, it has to go, there's a lot of bureaucracy, right? Someone has an idea and then you have to tell that to maybe a manager and then you have to somehow get that to the higher ups. Once it gets to the higher ups, then they have to approve the idea and then they have to designate it to a team that works on implementing that feature onto the platform, right? I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying all that type of stuff, but there are just so many there are so many things that YouTube can do to make the platform a lot better. And it just, I don't know. Again, but I'm not a business person. I'm not a CEO. And to be honest, for certain CEOs, I don't really envy their position. But at the same time, I'm just like, bro, if you just did this, this, and this, people would freaking love you. But no, for some reason, there's some ulterior motive that's happening. That's stopping you from implementing those changes. Like, what are we doing?
I don't know, because at the end of the day, they have a virtual money printer, and they're not going to do anything with it. constantly kind of ridiculous when you think about how good they could have it, but they're not.
Shiki. Well, the thing is, a lot of creators are trying to tell YouTube now that their new AI ad system is a problem now, so that they don't implement it, right? Because obviously, I do think backlash and lots of criticism towards YouTube is a really good, effective way to really like show them, hey, that's a bad decision. But at the end of the day, those decisions take a lot of time. So imagine, like I was talking about, someone has an idea, goes to a manager, it goes to a higher up, has to be approved. Then the team has to work on implementing the system into the actual YouTube app. And then imagine that takes, I don't know how long it takes. Let's say hypothetically like let's say like 6 months. It takes 6 months for that to happen. Imagine spending all that time only for then the people on the app to be like, yeah, no, that sucks. Can you redo that? It's better to just tell them now. So because there's a good chance that once they implement the change, they're not going to take it back, or if they do want to take it back, it's going to take a minute for them to do that. Right? Same thing with the dislikes, right? Even though there was obvious backlash to YouTube taking away the dislikes, they still kept it. It's still I still have to use a Chrome extension to see it. They're still gone.
Mm.
Right. And I get that. Like, I get the stockholders and all that type of stuff. But the thing is, it's like, there has to be a balance. Because if you move way too close to the stockholders, then you're going to piss off the creators. The creators are going to either leave, not continue to do YouTube, or whatever they decide to do. And then that inadvertently affects the stockholders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can act all we want that the stockholders are the only people a part of the equation, but they're not. And a lot of companies have the same mentality. The stockholders are not the only part of the equation. At the end of the day, if the consumer doesn't like it, then the stockholders get fucked anyway.
It's true.
I just don't. And the thing is, if I want, obviously, to get, like, a lot of people, every time something like this happens, a lot of people say, oh, we need a competition to YouTube. But first off, if there's a competition to YouTube, it's probably going to be another sucky company. Like, I would say like Amazon. Like, if Amazon is the only company I can really think of where they have the funds to even make a YouTube equivalent. But the thing is, I wouldn't want Amazon to make an alternative YouTube. I already know that would suck ass.
They already have their obsession with AI. Without getting too into details, my dad works for Amazon as their engineering department, and they have their own proprietary AI that does like shit for like Grammarly does. Because you've talked about using Grammarly with me before. You know, they have their own Grammarly. Like, they made their own Grammarly for their workforce. It's kind of nutty. That's like, I don't know. Just something about it's easier to use AI to do it is the mentality it feels like. Which, you know, the only reason why my dad even has a job as an engineer is because at the end of the day, they still need someone to walk over to a construction site and say, this is what needs to go here, here, and here. I mean, there are heaps of things that he has now that he didn't have when he was, you know, an up and coming fresh buck working to get his engineering degree. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a lot different when he was a kid versus when we're adults now. So,
right. And the thing is, obviously, like, stockholders, I think if you do invest your money, the company should try to get you that money back, and maybe some, but like it gets to a point, right? And I feel like there are some stockholders that think they know what they're doing, like, oh, can you do this and this, because I think that'll give us more money, and then it turns out to do the exact opposite, and then they're mad at the company for following their decision. I'm like, just because you're a stockholder doesn't mean you understand how to make money for the company. All you did is just give the company money, and that's it. It's getting to a breaking point, right? You already see it all around the world. It's getting to a breaking point, right? You can only do something like that for so long until everything goes out of balance. And again, I'm not against AI. I just be effective with it. Don't just put it in there just because. Make sure it has a purpose, and make sure it's actually a very effective and useful purpose. All right, because a lot of companies, they're just putting AI in it just because it's the new hot thing. But then now a lot of people are hating on it because it doesn't contribute to anything. Again, we've been using AI for years, but the way some of these companies are using it is not helpful.
Remind me to send you a video about AI at some point, because the argument that was made was, I think this is true. Why do we have so many AI out there that does painting and music and not does our taxes and shit for us? Because that's the shit that we don't want to do as humans, but because we still as humans want to create art and music.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Like another one is the fact that there are a lot of AIs in the medical field and science fields, and I'm like, that makes sense. Using AI for that type of stuff, that makes sense, right? Especially like science, STEM, all that type of stuff. Like math, for example, there are a lot of hard rules. AI can easily learn what those hard rules are, what proofs are, all that type of stuff. And then if you need it to calculate something, it can. That makes sense. But like all this stuff, like why do I need an AI to help me generate a YouTube title? Why? Because another thing with AI is the fact that a lot of people don't understand how it works. Right? ChatGPT, for a good example, it scrapes everything that humans have said and then uses it to train itself. So if you ask a question, it got its answer not out of thin air, not because it knows how to think, but because a human being on the internet has already said it. That's how that works. AI can, and another thing is going back to the YouTube titles I was talking about. You're never gonna get a good YouTube title with an AI because it takes the most general YouTube titles and gives that to you. It'll never give you a unique YouTube title that will be very specific and helpful for your video in particular, right? It generalizes everything, right? And that's just not, it just doesn't work like that, right? That's why when it comes to anything like creative, I think AI can be like, if there's like an AI like proofreader or spell checker, that makes sense, right? Because for me, I spell bad all the time, and that can be helpful.
You have good English.
Yeah, I have very good English, but like trying to actually write like if I ask the AI to try to write my own lore for me, it's gonna be the most generic cyberpunk like lore of all time, because it's just taking everything cyberpunk that has ever existed and just kind of combining it into this super generalized thing. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. In many instances, that could be very helpful. But like when it comes to creative stuff in particular, it's just not. And again, it came from someone else, right? Again, the AI doesn't pull it from thin air. That came from the internet. It came from someone else. If you get an AI response, and then you try to look it up on the internet, there's a very good chance you'll be able to find it or find multiple sources that sound similar, because that's how that works. Well, not generative. Is it generative? Yeah.
Yeah, generative AI is yeah. Oh god, I still got freaking dirty pickup lines up in the background on another tab. That's what I don't need this right now though.
Pixel Prowler, hello. Pixel Prowler 69, hello. So glad that you're here.
Oh wow, 69.
Yeah, like for me,
number.
Yeah, for me personally, if I would use the AI for like tags and stuff, but to create a thumbnail or a title, I wouldn't, because I've used AI to create a title for me before, and it's just the most generic thing possible. I'm not gonna act like I make the most unique content ever, so maybe using a more generic title wouldn't be like a crime. But like if you're making very artistic stuff, or very something that's like not anyone else in the world is doing, AI is not gonna help you. Now, if you're making very general content, like if you're making like Mr. Beast content, where it's like, oh, I took 1 million kids and brought them to an island. I'm like, okay, that's fair, right? But if you're making very artistic content or like video essays and stuff like that, I don't find it helpful. Now, if the goal is to be as generic as possible, AI is your friend. But if you're trying to do something new, do something different that no one has seen before, AI won't help you because it doesn't think. It can't come up with creative stuff on its own. It's just taking what people have already done and combined it into this weird mush of whatever.
Mush.
Right. So again, like, and the thing is, again, I don't make the most unique content. So in certain ways, AI can be useful, but I do want to make more artistic content. And I know that when it comes to AI, it's not going to help at all, whatsoever. Right. Again, AI can be very useful, but we're just using it in the worst way possible because we're humans, I guess. That's what we do.
Yeah. We find new ways to break things, and when we don't like them, we break them all over again.
Again, like you said, we can be using AI to pay for our taxes. We could be using AI to make productions and all that type of stuff that could actually help us. But no, we use it to try to get rid of what makes us human. And I just don't. Now again, AI memes, I'm not gonna lie, those are funny. Those are hilarious.
God, they're so weird.
They're weird.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah, but like, besides that, I'm just like, what? Like, if we like, let's say like creative stuff is automated, then what? Then what as humans do we do? Right? What do we do? I guess we go to the office job because the office job hasn't been automated yet, but somehow making paintings and creative art is.
So goofy.
Like, is that what we're doing? Or what happens? Imagine a world where everything is AI. So every art piece you see is AI. Every piece of music is AI. Every single job you can think of that exists. Again, this is just a hypothetical. Every single job that you can think of that exists is done by AI. And then every single creative thing that can be done is by AI. Then what? What now?
And we just kind of fall apart, honestly, when you think about it.
Right? What does humanity do at that point? This is a genuine question I have. Again, this is for everyone in chat. If AI took over every single job and took over every single creative passion that was out there in the world, what would we do? What would us as humans do?
You ever seen WALL-E?
Yes.
That's my thought process behind it. It might not be, it's not AI, but like we would become, it would do everything for us.
Yeah.
Feed us. It would feed us. It would water us. It would take care of everything, and that is. Sometimes some people might find that comforting. It's also a terrifying thought because then we don't have an identity anymore as a person.
Yeah. And when I say, like, this is a hypothetical, I am saying hypothetically, if AI was able to do every single job that exists and every single creative thing that exists, what would we as humanity do? Exactly. Bro, do you know the amount of funk? There's sometimes I look at some artists on Twitter and I'm like, how the fuck did you even come up with a style like that? What inspirations led you to make art that looks like that? How? Because it's so funky and it's so weird and it's so interesting, right? AI can't do that. It can't do that. Right? Like, they're just, or like some, or another thing with me, like sometimes I look at pieces of art and that are so beautiful, and knowing that it's made by a person, sometimes I think to myself, wow, what type of things did you have to go through life that led you to making masterpieces like that, right? There's a whole story, right? With AI, I'm just like, oh, so someone just clicked the button and then it just made that. Okay. Like, there's nothing that goes beyond that.
The worst part is then you run into an awkward situation where people will make will draw the line work, realize they don't know how to do color for shit, and then they'll just run it through generative AI to add color and shading. And then it still looks like it's AI, even though they drew like the base bit. So that's what gets weird, is that there's a lot of hybrid programs out there for doing art now as well. So some people are like absolutely zero AI art, and then there are some people who are like, well, hybrid AI is okay. There's no consensus. Like it's both. We're gonna go this way.
Well, the hybrid AI is very interesting. For example, I saw an animation program where the person has to animate everything, but then the AI automatically fills in the color. And I'm like, I can, for like anime productions or just anything animated that's like 2D, that's very helpful, because coloring in is just tedious. Coloring in every single part of the person or the character that you're drawing, that's tedious work. But actually like animating the actual like character, scene, whatever you're making is still made by humans, right? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Like when it comes to AI and like art, eliminating tedious work that no one likes, I'm completely down for that. But taking away just the entire process, that's where I have an issue with it. But the thing is, it can be a back and forth. What if someone makes a sketch, but then AI makes the line art and the colors? Then is that too far? Is that too far? Is that too much? Or since the person still made the sketch, it's still okay? Like those are genuinely very good questions.